Heidi ho, how's it go? Welcome to WholeLattaRich. I'm Rich Latta. Today we have a very special guest, JOEpinionated. Welcome, Joe. Joe has a YouTube channel that recently got monetized. Congratulations on that, Joe.
Thank you.
So let's dive right into it. What is your background with Queens of the Stone Age?
Honestly, I don't have a big background with Queens of the Stone Age. I was shown the first record when it came out. I had a neighbor that was really into music, and he also had a swimming pool, and so he wheeled a stereo outside. And I remember the first album coming out, and I think it was super cool. I didn't think it was like overly like, well, I'm crazy about these guys now, but I was like, it's cool, it's different. And then I kind of and then drifted away from the band a little bit until honestly probably around 2008 2007. I started to get a little bit back into them around like clockwork, and I was friends with a guy that was a super big fan, and he started educating me more about you missed out on songs for the deaf because I'm a huge Ween head. Dean Ween was in those desert sessions. I was sort of getting into Screaming Trees at the time, Mark Lanigan. It all kind of came together in reverse a little bit. But I kind of restarted around like clockwork, and have followed along since then, but never really went back and did a full dive until we started talking about this. So
All right.
it's somewhere in the middle.
Very interesting. Okay. So you heard the first album. I don't think it was very widespread, but you heard it right when it came out, huh?
Fair, yeah, it would have been around 2000 that I heard it, but yeah, no, my friend was like really into that, into Northwest punk music and stuff like
Uh-huh.
that, and he just had a mass, like, I don't know where he got the money from, if he was stealing from work or what, but like he just had this massive pile of CDs, and it was all just super random stuff, like Tom Waits. He got me into Tom Waits. He got me into a whole bunch of different music that I was too young for. I was like 18 at the time, so
Uh-huh.
yeah.
Cool. All right. So Queens of the Stone Age blew up in 2002 when Songs for the Deaf came out, and that's when they landed on my radar. The videos for No One Knows and Go with the Flow made a big impression on me, and I became a fan. And that's basically my story. So we've got eight albums. We're doing top 10 songs at the end, and you are the guest. So why don't you go ahead and kick us off with your bottom?
Just one question though. Did you listen to Caius? Were you into Caius beforehand, or
I
did it?
I have heard some Caius. Yeah, and I listened to one of their albums in preparation for this video. I can't even remember the name of it. I think it was the last one that they did, just to sort of get a taste of that. Yeah, yeah, they're cool. Yeah, Blues from the Red Sun. Yeah.
It's sort of funny, like stoner rock. You see
Uh-huh.
stoner rock on these things. What to you is stoner rock, Rich? Before we start, sorry. What do you like? Do you have a definition on what makes a song or a genre stoner rock?
I don't know. Sabbath seems like the ultimate stoner rock to me.
Okay, that's interesting.
Um,
Okay,
but uh, anything that's just heavy and sludgy, I guess,
okay, yeah.
or basic. Uh, it, there's probably a lot of different definitions for stoner rock. I'm not really prepared to give mine.
Okay, yeah, no, and I'm not either. It just kept coming up, and I kept going like, oh, I think of Clutch, but that's because they're singing about weed. Or I think of Pantera. They used to have that big doobie that they'd blow smoke in the audience with, or whatever. Like, I don't know why. It has to be weed related.
Yeah, I
Where
mean, I think weed goes with just about any kind of music, really. So,
All right. Okay. So yeah. So let me get my list over here. Sorry. Okay. All right. So ranking the albums of Queens of the Stone Age was not easy. And this is the first time I dove them all. And it's the first time I've heard probably 50% of the tracks, I'd say. And so when I did finally put them all together, they were all very close as far as the numbers go. I do a star ranking and I actually rank each song on Rate Your Music. So you can find me, Joe Opinionated, on Rank Your Music, and you can see what I ranked each song if you care to find me. Number 8 for me is the most recent one from 2023, and that's In Times New Roman. Um, it's it's a great album. It's still a good album. Like I don't have any issues there whatsoever. It's a different time for and we said Josh Home or
Home,
Homme.
yeah.
Okay,
A
so
lot of people say homie, but that's not right according to my research. It's home.
okay.
Like I gotta go home. I gotta go to Josh home.
I'm gonna have a hard time with that, but okay, yeah.
If you screw up, I'm not gonna crucify you for it.
Okay, so Josh Home.
Home.
But so he's gone through some changes in his life. And I think that some of that is reflected on this album, where it's not as punk rock and not as balls to the wall, I guess, as the rest of them. And it's still a really good album. And I think that it's actually kind of like a different avenue. And one of the things I admire so much about this band is that they do go in so many different avenues. As much as there's a Queens of the Stone Age sound, uh, they still always drift off in different directions. And I think they do that on this as well, but it's more the entire album is kind of in a different avenue rather than just individual pieces of the album. Obviously, you've got no Mark Lanigan. Mark has passed away at this point, and he was kind of still just sort of filling in and doing backing vocals up to his later years there. But yeah, I mean, overall, there are still some standouts on the album for me. Time and a Place, I thought a real groover, really cool, And then the end of the album, Emotional Sickness and Straight Jacket Fitting. I I went and watched some other ranking videos for Queens of the Stone Age once I finished compiling my list, just to kind of see, just curious where other people are at. And I did notice on quite a few of the videos, people didn't like the ends of the albums,
Uh-huh.
which blew my mind. Which to me blew my mind because I really like the way that they go out on these albums. They're an epic band. Everything seems very like big and grandiose. And I think the endings are very fitting. And I really like the very dramatic, long songs towards the end of the albums or the slower tracks or whatever the juxtaposition. I think it fits in place. And I think it fits in place even on his last album. And up again, for many bands, this would be one of the top 3 albums. But that's how good this band is and how consistent they are throughout the years. So, anyways, number 8 for me, and it's a 3.75 stars in Times New Roman. That's what I got.
Nice. All right. And it's cool to have you on the Quarter Stars team.
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, I'm on the quarter star. Are you?
Yeah,
Okay, right on. All right. Okay, we found each other finally.
yeah. All right. Yeah, I think they are a killer band. I'll just say that flat out. I think just about all their albums are good to great, but there's one album I don't like. So my bottom is their fifth album, Era Vulgaris. It's from 2007. I'm not sure what was going on with Queens when they made this one, but it sucks. Almost devoid of worthwhile hooks, very repetitive and monotonous most of the time. Over half of these songs land in the mediocre range. Only 3 of them are worth returning to, but none of them are great. Opener Turnin' on the Screw has a good beat, but over and over it plays these rather off notes. The lyrics are good. 666, 666 was amazingly the first single. Amazing because it is so repetitive and monotone. I just got to say, it's a mediocre tune. I'm Designer, not I'm a Designer, but I'm Designer is good. There are some crunchy, if mechanical guitars and a great guitar solo. Weird song. I dig the ringing guitar sound on Into the Hollow, but it's a mad track. Misfit Love begins with a deep synth rumble before launching into a groove with cool, jagged guitars, but they are unfortunately rather lacking in the melody department. The vocals aren't, though. The vocals are good on that one. Battery Acid is sort of a circus thrash, but it does nothing for me musically. Make It With You comes out of left field, a piano-led pop song that's really good, although it sticks out like a sore thumb. Doesn't seem to really belong with these other songs. And it ends with some ominous synths. I guess they needed some kind of transition there, but it makes for some wild juxtapositions. Threes and Sevens is the other really good track, featuring some tasty crooked guitar lines. It rocks, even though it's still far from the best Queens of the Stone Age song you'll ever hear. The last three tracks are not good. Suture Up Your Future does nothing for me, and I hate the repetitive ending. We get Mark Lanigan on River and the Road, but the song is a bit of a mess. Final track, Run Pig Run, is flat out mediocre, one of the worst on the album. It has sort of a circus stomp, and the beat evolves and gets kind of cool at the end. But overall, it's just pretty awful. And I find the added touch of a whistle to be annoying as well. So Josh Home's gift for writing great hooks is largely MIA here. Era Vulgaris reminds me of my feelings about Panorama by the Cars, how I felt that album was a severe drop in quality from previous albums with only a few worthwhile tunes. Era Vulgaris is 2 stars.
Well, this is like the Queens of the Stone Age, we're going to have incredible juxtapositions on our critiques of these albums. I love it though. It's funny. It's so hard to rate these guys or to rank them because I went backwards. I started at the end and worked my way backwards just to kind of change it up a little bit. And I don't know. I kept having such a hard time putting an album ahead of another album. Like they are to me also consistently good, and I, like I said, I love Ween, I love Weird, I love stuff that just doesn't change or that constantly changes and doesn't kind of care. It's a little bit arrogant, but I don't know. It kind of plays well for me with what Queens is going for. So
Okay, cool.
I
Oh, go ahead.
no, I'm ready. Obviously we don't have the same rankings, but I I move them around so much that like I kind of respect every ranking, honestly.
Yeah, what I was going to say is I don't have a lot of strict rules when listening to music, but when diving a discography, I always go from the beginning and then order to the end. That's just me. That's like my
Yeah.
one little anal thing. I want to hear how everything evolved and all that. So
Yeah.
that's my little rule. But it's
Okay.
fun to change it up, you know.
I
Rules
think
are
it's
made to be
because I
broken.
was I was obviously more familiar with the first three. I was the most familiar with the first three albums and going into this, just but anyways, that's why I did it that way. But yeah, are you ready for my number seven?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, my number seven is kind of a weird one, I guess, especially after watching all the other things, and it might even be your number one. But I'm going with 2000's Rated R as my number seven. And the things I love about this album are things like obviously the three singers. This album and the next, you get Lanigan also singing. You've got Chris Goss, sorry, as producer with that grand piano as well. But I mean, I find this album a little bit flat. The first two albums in sense. The first album's really heavy, but this one I don't. It's so bizarre because there's three singers, but I just don't find it moves enough, changes enough between all the songs. I like the juxtaposition. I like the odd where this song come from, and I don't find that enough on this album for me personally. And I just started counting songs that I like on each album, and that's kind of how I put them up against each other. So that's kind of where my rankings come down. I also have this one at 3.75 stars. Highlights for me are Better Living Through Chemistry, and I think I lost my headache. The Closer, again, I love the closers on these albums. Feel Good Hit of the Summer, I thought that was a really cool song when I was 18, and I do, or 20 or whatever it was. And I do think it's a cool song, but I heard it a ton. It was like really cool, like amongst our friends and stuff like that. And it got played a lot to the point where it's like that I love the cocaine song or something like that, where it's like it was really fun for a weekend. But I'm over it, like I am Captain Morgan's rum and whatever else I was doing that weekend. But yeah, Lost Art of Keeping a Secret, huge, like a hit off the album. One of the first songs I remember actually hearing on the radio around here. And basically, we listen to Seattle radio here and Vancouver radio here. And so this kind of music is really big here. Anything grunge or anything kind of rock, alternative rock is, Seattle's home base to us. And so, yeah, we heard this album quite a bit. It was actually the only album I ever owned on vinyl. I had a really rare copy of this given to me by my friend that showed me the band, and I traded it for mechanical work because my other buddy, who's a massive Queens of the Stone Age, is a mechanic. So I traded this album on wax to him. He still has it. Brian, thank you. The biggest Queens of the Stone Age fan I've ever met. And he loves this album. So sorry, Brian, and sorry to all the hardcores out there. I just think they're good the whole way through. And that's why this album finishes seventh for me, rated R.
Okay, very nice. All right, my number seven is Villains. It is their seventh album. It's from 2017. This is the Queen's synth album. Definitely a different direction for the band, yet still very much their brand of weird hard rock. Opener Feet Don't Fail Me begins as sort of a tribute to Native American music and builds up until it explodes into a fierce dance beat. Overall, this is not a dance album, however. The opener is dancey, but it has a lull in the middle that would be quite hard to dance to. I love the line, to be civilized, one must tell civil lies. Next track, The Way You Used to Do, is very fast paced with a simple guitar riff, but what really makes it is Josh's vocals. I also love the trippy synth ending. Domesticated Animals is decidedly not dancey with its 7/8 time signature. It does have a stomping beat once it gets going. The verses are rote, but it works thanks to the trippy instrumentation and synths. Josh sings, You've got heart, I'll have it for lunch. Fortress is much more of a light rocker than anything we've heard from Queens before. It's not really what I want from this band, but it's good, and I appreciate them trying something different. Head Like a Haunted House is a wild tune, fast-paced like the way you used to do, and there's a tasty theremin in there, perfect for a haunted house. The second side is good, full of long songs over 6 minutes. The last two tracks are gold. The Evil Has Landed sounds like Led Zeppelin with incredible rhythms, but by the end of it, it sounds like Queens. The last track, Villains of Circumstance, was written for his kids. And I agree with you. They always do something special with the last track. They get really arty and creative. Um, This one drifts along hauntingly in a quiet manner. At one point, it goes into light synth rock like Fortress. It builds up to a truly wild climax with an impressive array of instrumentation. And that's the primary reason I gave it 5 stars. This is a strong album from Queens, and I appreciate the introduction of different elements, particularly the synth. I would happily put this album on again anytime. 4 stars.
That's bang on. I can't believe you said that about the Led Zeppelin thing. That's exactly what I was thinking when I was listening to that like 2 days ago or whatever. So good call,
Yeah.
buddy. Good call. And there's so many. I There's one thing I love about Queens is that Josh is clearly like, obviously he's a big music nerd, and he's also, he has a really cool way by paying tribute to his idols, right? Yeah, I watched him on that Guitar Move thing, and he's talking about Billy Gibbons, and it's funny because desert rock you think is ZZ Top, right? Like for me, anyways. I think of Lagrange or something like that, like just this real earthy, sand, muddy sound they got going on here. And I love how he's singing about going out to the desert, or he's singing about coming back to the desert from to LA or this way or that way and stuff like that. And it's exactly what you picture. I picture that thermometer out, or Barstow or something like that, like on that desert from Vegas to LA. And I don't know. Yeah, it's all just kind of blowing my mind at the same time. I'm sorry, I'm going in 15 different directions here, but
That's all right.
uh, yeah, just the sounds and the different bands I'm constantly picking up. I'm picking up like Nick Cave. I'm picking up, Villains, David Bowie. A lot of that stuff. And I think there are some ties to Bowie. I know Ronson's the producer on that album, and stuff like that. But like, yeah, Nick Cave, Devo. I saw you did a video on Devo there. It was very good. I like that. Uh, I don't know. I'm picking all this up, and I'm watching Josh's interviews and trying to see where he brings these people up, and he usually does. Usually like, that's a little bit of this or whatever, and it's just exciting to kind of follow along. How old is Josh? Like 50?
Sounds about right. He's a
Yeah,
he's a good interview too. Yeah.
really cool. And I always kind of thought he was sort of an arrogant guy or whatever. Like that was sort of who I pictured in the back of my mind for whatever reason. But he's not. He's actually pretty cool and pretty down to earth. And yeah, I actually saw them live. Have you seen them live before?
No, I haven't. I'd love to.
I saw them live opening for Soundgarden in Vancouver in 2012, and it was hilarious because on the way there, I was standing actually with that guy that's a big Queens of Stone Age fan, and this guy came up to us at the bus stop, and he's like, "You going to the show tonight?" We're like, "Yeah, we're going to the show." He's like, "Well, just so you know, Josh Holmes is opening up with Queens of the Stone Age, and Kim Thile doesn't hold a candle to Josh." And we're like, "All right, okay, man," because I'm like, he's like, "Oh, who are you going to see?" I'm like, "Well, Soundgarden." I'm Soundgarden's my favorite of the big four. Anyways, we went to this show. Queens of the Stone Age was the best opening act I have ever seen at anything ever. They blew the roof off. I remember they're almost frightening. I remember being like, these guys are fucking good, but I'm a little bit scared right now. Anyways, excellent show. Sorry. Very, very good stage presence. And I've never seen an opening act like that get this crowd fired up like that. My number six album for the editor. We're at number six now. I just stopped jabbering and circle talking. Number six, I'm going with the debut, 1998. It's self-titled, Queens of the Stone Age. I did mention earlier, this was my introduction to the band because I had a really hip neighbor that was into stuff like this, and he probably knew who Caius was. And right off the bat, the opening track, Regular John, is everything. If you don't know the Queens of the Stone Age and you just want one song to tell you who they are, Nobody Knows is the song, but you should. The second song, Regular John. Regular John is so dry, driving through the desert, you get these feels, thumping, pulsing, exciting, energetic, and different. Clearly, something different. And they're basically in a genre of their own. Uh, and I think they stamp it down with this album. Obviously, you've got walking on the sidewalks is another highlight for me. If only is a highlight for me, where you get into some melodic stuff as well. It's not just straightforward rock. A lot of people say this is their heaviest album, or their more straightforward like metal album, and I don't know. There's the melodies in it don't exist on any most metal albums that I know. Not like this. It's almost got a pop touch to it, and which is very cool. And like a glam rock obviously is throughout their albums. There's a lot of glam touches, and you get a taste of that. But it's just all it says Palm Desert Scene is that one of the descriptors of this album, Palm Desert Scene. And I mean, you feel that descriptor when you listen to the entire album. Mexicola is a standout. There's other standouts on the album that the hardcores know and love. I don't know the album front to back that well. I MP3 era, Napster era. I did a lot of that, but yeah, after doing this deep dive, still a very solid album, and it's my first one at 4 stars. Is the debut from 1998.
All right, very cool. Well, now is when I deliver what is most likely my hottest take. It is my hottest take. My number six is their third album, Songs for the Deaf. Came out in 2002. This placement will be shockingly low for some, but I have to be honest about my feelings. I remember when this album hit, and I remember watching the video for No One Knows, which is a riot. Um, there are some great songs on this album, but it's not consistently great for me. I dig the concept, which is basically a road trip, and the songs on the album are songs heard along the way. The radio DJ interludes are a fun part of the experience. I might have made them a bit shorter though, because they do get a bit redundant with repeated listening. After a DJ intro, the first song we get is Do You Think I Ain't Worth a Dollar, But I Feel Like a Millionaire, which is explosive. Bassist Nick Oliveri handles the vocals, very rockin' tune. I love how it stops dead for a few seconds at one point and then goes straight back into the rock. No One Knows is, of course, a great tune, a huge hit, and I've always loved it despite the fact that it sort of rubs me the wrong way. The guitars sound kind of, I don't know, nee, 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 nee. It sounds kind of like nee, 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 boo, boo. I don't know. It's just, it's this little quirk in my brain that makes me go, eh. But Dave Grohl's drums on that thing are killer, as is the guitar riffage at the chorus. So, I live with that little quirk in my brain and enjoy the song anyway. First It Giveth is a merely good song about how drugs are great at first and then they start destroying your life. The Sky Is Fallen is positively crushing, but loses some of its power from going on for too long. Six Shooter is a short number with Oliveri going completely over the top. It's cool. Hanging Tree is one of the best songs, featuring an exquisite vocal from Mark Lanigan. That song rocks. The best song and the only one here I consider to be pure gold is Go with the Flow. I adore the way the guitar colors in the verses. The lyrics are so evocative, just a killer song. The next track is the weakest. You could say Gonna Leave You rocks, with its heavy guitars and Oliveri vocal, but it's not very interesting musically or lyrically. The rest of the album is good, and the hidden track Mosquito Song is great. It's totally different, more along the lines of Baroque pop with acoustic guitar, strings, and horns. I know this album is considered 5 stars by many, but only 5 of these 15 tracks are excellent for me. So I'm going 4 stars for songs for the deaf.
There we go. We got it in for the editor. Yeah, that six shooter is a funny one. It didn't make my spoiler. It didn't make my top 10, but it is cool. It's a cool juxtaposition. It's a straight up punk song right in the middle of what's not a straight up punk album. And anything that Dean Ween touches in my mind is gold. And when I can hear just a splash of Dean Ween, I'm very happy to do so. Especially right now, thinking about Diener, our man is down and out, and Ween's not happening right now. But they did just announce a new double live album, which features one of my favorite Ween tracks, finally released, Albino Sunburn Girl. But sorry, got to get into Ween here. Yeah, and I mean that might surprise some people, but our lists are almost completely opposite so far until we get to number five. Number five, I'm going with 2017's Villains. And be honest with you, from 5 to 1, honestly, I don't know. You can flip these albums any given day of the week. I'm not stuck on my number one at all. So yeah, we are in 4 star territory with Villains. This one was the Mark Ronson produced album, and what I thought that was a cool direction to go. It is slick. It sounds different. Like you said, the synths are added on this one, and I really love that about it. And I kept looking at different, yeah, because I was working my way backwards listening to them. I was like, oh wow, okay. I wonder when they added this. Oh, I wonder when they added this. It did kind of screw me, and it made me research a little bit more. But the sounds on this album are unique. And I think that Ronson is obviously a huge part of that. I think that Joshua, as he's called now, really did want to take things a little bit more in his own direction. It has more pop. To me, it's a bit more of a radio friendly album in some ways. I didn't find it very strange. I thought the end of the album, as Rich just noted, sorry, incredible. I love the evil. The evil has landed, and Villains of Circumstance are 2 major standouts for me on this album. But I also think it opens really well too. The first 3 tracks, "Feats Don't Fail Me," is not quite as good as those other 5. The way you used to do, and "Domesticated Animals," as Rich also pointed out about the lyrics, not the greatest on that one for me, anyways. But I do like. I think of that song, the groove on it, the production is upfront, and just the added instrumentation throughout this album to me, just different touches. There's plenty of instruments on every album, but there's just different sounds on this album. There's different instruments too. I was looking for what is it called, the chamberian or whatever, that tape loop piano, where it runs the tape loops through, like the Led Zeppelin used to use, Physical Graffiti and stuff.
What are you talking about, Mellotron?
Or sorry, the Mellotron. And but I don't see it on here. But and parts it did sound like, so maybe that's just synths for parts of it. But anyways, yeah, I just like the added instrumentation. I think this album is as good as any Queens of the Stone Age album. I think it's right up there, and I'm very unfamiliar with it. I've listened to it twice in the last 2 weeks, but I really loved it. I was like, wow, okay, it made me very excited for the dive. When I got to Villains, I was like, whoa, shit. Okay, perfect. So anyways, yeah, it's a strong 4 star plus even for me villains, and I've got it at number five.
All right. Cool. My number five is their second album, Rated R. It's from 2000. And yeah, this rocks. But I would say it's an unusual hard rock album, very creative and arty. I love how it kicks off with that Morse code bass guitar riff on the
Yeah.
drug chant opener feel good hit of the summer. Nicotine, Valium, Vicodin, marijuana, ecstasy, and alcohol. It's funny how ecstasy is just casually mentioned in that deadpan list of drugs because pure MDMA blows away everything else on that list. I can tell you that. Next track, The Last Art of Keeping a Secret, is even better. That one is pure gold. And I love the vibraphones, the vibes. Leg of Lamb is quirky. Perfect Living Through Chemistry has some more vibes, some exploding guitar, and the song transforms in cool ways. Monsters in the Parasol is just okay. I'm not crazy about the chorus or the she won't grow mantra. It's a bit more obtuse than quirky. And The Fade is the other song I consider to be gold. It's just incredibly infectious with echo-laden guitar and busy bass work. Mark Lanigan sings the chorus, and he sounds great as can be expected. Bassist Nick Oliveri sings on a few of these tunes, and he sounds rather unhinged. The last track, I Think I Lost My Headache, goes on for nearly 9 minutes. It begins with a cool, staggered beat and evolves into different segments. The guitar riff eventually transforms into horns, and the last few minutes are basically a horn freakout. It's a very subversive and arty way to end the album. It's like something Faust would do. So this is a strong album, and there are some excellent songs here, but I'm not quite at the point where I consider the album as a whole to be excellent. So I'm at 4.25 stars. Very, very good.
Excellent. Okay, well, I'm happy with that now because I thought I was way off base with the whole rated R thing. But yeah, I agree with everything you said there. I just liked it a little less than you did. The next up for me, I go on number four, 2007 Era Vulgaris. Era Vulgaris from 2007. Initially, I had this one in last place as well, which is funny. On the first, I listened to them all twice this week or the last couple of weeks here, and more, some of them more. The top ones, a few more, but this one on first listen was last place in the rankings. But I think that once I got kind of more into the Queens of the Stone Age headspace, and I lived there for a little while, and you know, I was listening to it in bed first thing when I got up, or you know, like late night in bed, I'd be listening to it, my headphones on, falling asleep, listening to Queens of the Stone Age, and I really got in the zone, I guess you could say. And that's when this album started to kind of turn around for me. Um, I don't, I'm not too crazy about like Turn on the Screw, even 666. I listened to that one quite a few times because I kept seeing it on a bunch of lists after I made my list. And I was like, what am I missing here? Why isn't this one on mine? And I do like how it opens up, but at the end of the song, it just kind of drifts off a little bit for me. I don't really like how it closes out. The I Am Designer wasn't crazy about it. Just not enough happening for me. But then Into the Hollow, Misfit Love, I love both of those tracks. Make It With You, I can't listen to it anymore. Like that was a huge radio song. And as cool as it is, it's a really cool song. And I remember when I first heard it, I was like, this is very cool. Like I want to hear that again. Like find it. I need to listen to that. That good. But I'm just over that song. It's just kind of, it comes on now and I wish it was shorter, you know. Threes and Sevens is a song that I opposite, like I've heard it a lot, but it's totally fine. It sits with me fine. I still get really excited about it, and it's probably my favorite song on the album. And then this album, which is I think has the worst ending. Like the last three songs on this album just don't do it for me. I don't like Run Pig Run and River in the Road. Like those songs just don't do a lot for me. I just thought the album kind of faded off like a lot of alternative rock albums at this time did, you know, and especially the later 90s, early 2000s, when you got these really long albums. You would have like throwaway songs at the end of the album. And I don't really like anything after threes and sevens on this album. So that's kind of what dropped it down a bit more for me. Um, Joey Castillo on the drums on this album is awesome. And I mean, all the musicians on every album, they're very unique and very cool. And I love it. You know, you've got the singing going on too. And these guys are certainly wild and crazy. Um, and it comes through, it shows on the albums. But Joey, I thought really kind of stand out on this one, obviously. And yeah, that's what I got it at. I've got that one also rated at a 4 star, you know, maybe a little bit plus for me. But yeah, Era Vulgaris, number 4.
All right, that was interesting. You actually had a lot of criticism for the album, but it ended up pretty high placement. Hmm, interesting. Okay, my number four is the debut, Queens of the Stone Age from 1998. Opener Regular John leaps out of the gate with a motoric beat and powerful propulsion. This is great hard rock. Walking on the Sidewalks is excellent, despite getting a bit monotonous at the end. You Would Know is trippy and hypnotic. I love the super abrasive guitar tone on How to Handle a Rope. The super low bass that opens Mexicola is so badass. The weakest track is the instrumental Hispanic Impressions, but it's still really good. You Can't Quit Me, Baby starts off with some cool bass, and I love the trippy breakdown at the end. Last song, I Was a Teenage Hand Model, is totally different, featuring some piano and spacey synths. Nothing here is quite at the gold level, but seven of these songs are 4.5 excellent, which is enough to justify a 4.5-star rating. This rocks.
I want to make like a mix. I'm gonna do it actually. I'm gonna make a mix of just the final song on each album, and so much Elton John flavors in there too, right? Like just the way those songs are just so epic, and like the whole like November Rain thing going on a lot of them. Fuck, I absolutely love it. I do, yeah, and I do love how different I Was a Teenage Hand Model comes off at the end there too. Yeah, good call, Rich. Um, I'll just jump into it. You got more to say on that one?
Nope, it was
Okay.
that one was a short one.
Okay. Cool. I got more to say on the songs. I wrote some better notes on those, uh, just in case thought I came completely unprepared. Number three, number three, from 2002. I'm going with Songs for the Deaf. You know, it comes out of the ashes of these desert sessions, and they've got, you know, Dave Grohl on drums, pretty big deal. It's the first time he's really, you know, drummed since Nirvana, and he's kind of gotten tired of being out with Foo Fighters at this point. Wants to be in the background, but he's not in the background. He's in the forefront of this album, especially. Um, and it's like giving all of these people that come in, I mentioned 30 times now, Dean Ween, at these sessions as well. But giving all these people to come in the freedom to play with Dave Grohl and to be loose and have these drug fueled writing sessions and whatever the hell they're doing. Uh, it's a very unique, very cool album. And it doesn't happen that often that you have that. And I think that that's what almost I don't know if the songs are better on this than Villains. Like I don't really know that for me, but I'm such a fan of the whole idea of this album that it actually elevates it, which is kind of pretty rare. Like there's not a lot of albums where that's what's elevating it for me. I love the idea of it. I love how rock and roll it is. It's so cool, but at the same time, like I feel like these guys are okay to not be cool, and that just elevates it to even cooler. Like they're not afraid of what's the results are. They're like the comedians telling the joke, and they don't care. It's Norm Macdonald. He's gonna bomb. He doesn't give a shit. It's about putting it out there and about I feel this right now, and I get that a lot with this album. Uh, Opens up with "You Think You Ain't Worth a Dollar," but I feel like a millionaire, which is fucking very cool. The slow intro into it, and then okay, hit the gas. Second is "No One Knows." Rich is tired of it, and I get that, but uh, I mean, yeah, definitely one of the first songs I heard on the radio. Again, one of the bigger songs, of course. Huge song with the Guitar Hero and such. It was everywhere for not just 2002, but for quite a while after that, especially because of the whole Guitar Hero push. Uh, Song for the Dead, I quite like. The Sky is Falling, I quite like. Six Shooter, I think is hilarious punk track thrown in there. And the three singers again, very cool. Hanging Tree, not so crazy about. Go with the Flow. I'm kind of flipped with the No One Knows with You, Rich. Like opposite. Like I'm sick of Go with the Flow, but no one knows I can listen to all the time kind of thing. But I both recognize both of them as classic rock standards now. They're both they are way up there. In the last 25 years, Queens of the Stone Age is arguably the best rock band in the world. I mean, they've got to be in the conversation. Gonna Leave You, another great track. And then I go down to Songs for the Deaf, which is cool. Songs for the Dead and Songs for the Deaf, I'm not as crazy about as a lot of fans seem to be. But Mosquito Song at the end, and you had mentioned it, the final track, the hidden track, is another very unique song to their catalog. Maybe not unique to the final songs on their catalog, but it's all over the map and also features Dean Ween, which I love. I can hear those acoustic guitars in there. Deaner, I'm thinking of you. But Mosquito Song is incredible, probably the best song on the album, or one of the very best for sure. We'll see if it makes my top 10 songs list. Songs for the Deaf comes in at number 3 from 2002.
And what's it rated?
I've got it rated at 4.25 stars.
4.25. All right. Okay, this might be a surprising placement for some. I've got their eighth studio album, the most recent one, for number 3. Came out in 2023, In Times New Roman. And that seems like an unwieldy title. I don't entirely get that. It's just curious phrasing. Anyway, I think it's a killer album. They really bring back the rock after the relatively light and synth-heavy Villains. This is also a really heavy divorce album in which Home really lets his ex-wife Brody Dahl have it. Brutal stuff. Opener Obscenery dives right into the thick of it, beginning with an opening riff that evolves. At one point, the song takes a brief detour into classical music. The song has some good, heavy guitar, but it sounds a bit cluttered. It's still a good song, but it's actually the weakest on the album for me. So In Times New Roman joins other albums where I think the opening cut is weakest, like The Southern Harmony and Musical Companion by the Black Crowes.
What? Sting me?
I don't like it that much.
What? Oh shit!
I like the other ones a lot better.
Don't watch my Black Crows episodes.
Okay.
Sorry. Go back.
That's cool. The next song, Paper Machete, immediately sounds better than the opener, kicking into a streamlined riff. It's a kick-ass tune, but it's also a vicious takedown of Brody. The guitar solo is positively killer. There's a few killer guitar solos on this album. Holmes' vocals sound so good, and his lyrics are at a peak. He's really great at wordplay, alliteration, and double meanings. A few songs have a touch of Devo quirkiness about them. There you go, Devo. The last two tracks are the other tunes that get a 5-star rating from me. We are reminded about how great a singer Josh is from the opening a cappella line in Emotional Sickness, Use Once and Destroy. The song rocks with jagged guitars before slipping into a dreamy chorus. The last track has a tasty sort of Addams Family sinister strut, a really cool vibe. And then the album ends with an acoustic and electric guitar coda just to calm things down. A heavy album in more ways than one. It's funny because when you look at the track listing on streaming, every one of these songs is labeled explicit. In Times New Roman is 4.5 stars. Excellent.
Oh, sorry. I want to read your notes. They're good. I like them. They're awesome. Yeah, cool, man. No, it's yeah, and that's it was album is new to me, and like I said, right off the hop, I had it ranked at number 8, but there's my rankings are so tight, honestly. Like the 3.75s are really close to a 4. Like that's so they're all really right around 4, all the way until my number 2 pick, which is Like Clockwork, which I have at 4.5 stars. And Like Clockwork was 2013. I do remember listening to this one a little bit when it came out. I think you get this one, you get Dave Grohl a bit too, don't you? Yeah, Dave Grohl appears
Yeah.
on drums. Mark Lanigan there, Lewin there. You got, is everybody still there? Yeah, Nick Olivieri. Was he asked back for this one?
I think it's just like a little guest thing. He
Okay,
wasn't
yeah,
like a full member
because
or
he was.
anything.
I think he was out after Songs for the Deaf, or
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
it was right around there. Anyways,
Yeah.
there was a disagreement.
Yeah. Apparently Oliveri was pretty out of control. So,
Yeah. I heard some nasty stuff that I wasn't privy to, so I don't want to repeat it. But yeah,
yeah,
I
but
hope.
they eventually came back around to being friends. So that's good.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that it was warranted, and I think that also time heals. So
Yeah.
hopefully that's the case.
One thing I
Um,
meant to say at some point, I might as well say it now. I do like Nick Oliveri, but I do think the band got better after he left for whatever reason. So I'll
they
just leave
got
it at that.
yeah, I mean they got different, right? I mean it's he's the punk element, like a straight up
Yeah.
punk element. And so it's sort of it's different for sure. And yeah, I think melodically it got better because I think a lot of punk music isn't great melodically.
I would just
And
rather hear Holmes sing.
yeah, well, that part for sure. But yeah, I miss Lanigan though, obviously. And
Yeah.
I did want to mention quickly. I'm currently reading this right now, which is Justin Hampton's book, Visual Feast. And Justin Hampton, famous poster artist, and he worked with Queens of the Stone Age, was close with Mark Lanigan. There's about 30 or 40 Queens of the Stone Age posters in there.
Cool.
Yeah, really cool. Visual Feast is a cool book that Justin Hampton put out, and if you check out my podcast, I'm going to be interviewing him soon. Part of it for the JOEpinionated channel, and part of it for a Ween poster group on social media called Ween Poster Love that I'm the administrator for, and done some poster artist interviews. And I'm really excited about Justin Hampton because he's kind of like huge. Anyways,
Are you,
very excited.
is Wayne your favorite band?
Ween is probably like there's. It's funny because there's a Black Crowes poster right there. There's a David Gilmour poster right there, but then there's one, two, three, four, five Ween things within sight here. So yeah, Ween is my favorite band.
Cool. Cool. Yeah. I did the dive and I loved it. I loved it. They are super creative.
Yeah, and it's funny. The studio albums is kind of hard in a lot of ways, but I'm a huge Ween live guy, like kind of like the Grateful Dead for me, where it's all about the live stuff. I love listening to all the different concerts, and
You know, Chris in our community is big on Wayne. That may be his favorite band as well.
yeah, I just and part of it's they're cool, like part of it is the fact that they don't give a shit, and they love music, same as these guys. And I know Josh has talked about his love of Ween, that he opened for Ween or went on tour with Ween at one point, uh, and
Yeah.
just and loves their freedom, right? And so it's I don't. Yeah, I just absolutely love those guys. I love who they are. Their influences are Prince and Sly and the Family Stone and Eddie Hazel of Funkadelic and all that sort of stuff. And I hear a lot of that on Queens of the Stone Age too. So I don't know. That's part of
Cool.
the reason. Part of the reason this week was very exciting for me, or these weeks. Anyways, back to normal here. Light Clockwork, 2013. Some of my standout tracks for me. This is a very popular album, so I'm not probably not going to tell too many people too much they don't already know about it. Except for to some, I think it's seen as more kind of back to form with Songs of the Dead. I feel like some people, like Rich included, felt Era Vulgaris was maybe a bit of a step back. And that was the impression I was under at the time because I hadn't heard Era Vulgaris that much. But uh, like Clockwork, standouts, If I Had a Tail, Smooth Sailing, um, I Sat by the Ocean. But what I noticed most with this album when I'm listening to it is that I just enjoy each part. It's like watching Standing in the Shadows of Motown when they've got the Funk Brothers there putting together songs, and they show like, okay, you start with this, okay, go ahead, tambourine, okay, you go with this, and then they put together like My Girl or something like that, right? And it's just like, what? I feel I can hear that happening in this album with these little pieces kind of coming in and out together. This, oh, here's a chunk of a song, okay, it goes there and it goes there, and it all fits together. It's magic, in a lot of ways. And it's not so much even the song versus song. It's like 30 seconds versus the next 30 seconds versus the next 30 seconds. It flows. And it's just a very, I'm glad that this music is still coming out now. That's what I think of when I listen to it. 2013, all right, cool. There was still forward thinking new shit coming out in 2013. This album, like Clockwork, is proof. So I got it at number two. Congrats, Queens of the Stone Age. You made a killer album in 2013, a killer rock album. Go for
Well, what do you know? We line up on the top two.
it.
My number
What?
two is Like Clockwork,
Oh
their
wow. Okay.
sixth album from 2013. So we have the same number one. This is a more evolved, sophisticated album from Queens, featuring some quieter moments We also get some unusual killer rock songs. Opener Keep Your Eyes Peeled has a sinister sound, including some super low bass notes, and Holmes' creepy falsetto in full effect. Sat by the Ocean is gold, a great groove with exquisite guitar. It's one of several songs about failed relationships, which seems odd considering Home got married the year this album came out. But it's a broken album full of pain and regret and escapism. If I Had a Tail is a damn good rock tune, but it's weird and it doesn't completely work for me. It's just seems a little off, but at the same time I love it. So it's just one of those weird things. But My God is the Sun is excellent and it totally rocks. Collapsia takes quiet, loud, quiet dynamics to an extreme, getting very slow and quiet with some serene piano and alternately very heavy. Trent Reznor is on the track. Fairweather Friends has some badass piano from none other than Elton John.
Yeah, there it is.
Smooth Sailing is another golden tune and my favorite on the album. It's a real fuck it song with a great groove. It sounds drunk, and the video reflects that feeling. I love Holmes' high falsetto as he sings, I'm burning bridges, I destroy the mirage. All visions of collisions, fucking bon voyage. The last two tracks are a real downer. The final track, the title track, it's the final five-star song here, a real showstopper. It's essentially a rock ballad. I adore the plaintive piano. The song builds to a great climax, and there's a great guitar solo. The lyrics are really sad. Most of what you see, my dear, is worth letting go because not everything that goes around comes back around. One thing that is clear, it's all downhill from here. It's, Jesus, it's just depressing. A chilly ending. The album is brilliantly produced, and there's subtle use of orchestration to enhance the proceedings. Six of these 10 songs are excellent, and nothing here is less than 4 stars. An incredible album. I gotta go 5 stars.
I love your choice of lyrics, buddy. That's awesome. Okay, yeah. So, like Rich said, lockstep here. I Actually, I totally did not see coming, especially after the first few came up. But yeah, so number one, I've got Lullabies to Paralyze. And this was the first time I listened to this album, except for the hits, I guess. And Blown away right from the start. First of all, how it starts off with Lullaby, that's as a studio opener, just that little snippet, that little short, beautiful track to open it. I think that's really cool. I think there's just right away that grabbed me. I was like, oh, okay, nice. And I think this is one of the ones I was listening to in bed for the first time. So I was kind of vertical, and then I ended up staying awake and listening to it. Probably should have got a bit more sleep for work, but and then into medication is not quite as impressive, but still very cool for me. Everybody knows that you're insane is such an party rock anthem, high school thing. I think a little bit of like Blur or something when I hear this. I don't know if that's just because that Woohoo Song 2 thing was played at a lot of parties I was at when I was younger, but everyone knows that you're insane. Like, I wish I had that in my back pocket when I was in high school. I think that's a really cool song. Reminds me of, yeah, songs that you, he can be mean, like you said, a little harsh, especially with the breakup album in Times New Roman, which is a really cool title. I never even really stopped and thought about it. Now I've been staring at it for the last 20 minutes. Uh, but uh, but yeah, sometimes his lyrics do cut, and then sometimes they are a little bit mean spirited. But you, not every, it doesn't all have to be so personal. I find it like a lot of times with the lyrics of Ween, for instance, people are always like, "Oh, that's like what they're saying is so immature." Blah blah blah. It's like, well, no, that's not them saying it. That's a song about a character, and in this song, this character is a doofus, and they love singing about douchebags. Like that's they talk about it, and I really feel that with Josh too. Like, not everything is super personal, and I think that that's maybe why I thought he was kind of arrogant before really kind of diving in, is because I thought like the little snippets of things I heard, I was like, oh, this guy's a massive asshole. But he's not. He's not at all. And I apologize for thinking that, Josh. I'm sure you're watching this today. Tangled Up in Plaid is a really interesting song. I haven't quite got there, but it's a song where I don't know. I can tell I really like it. I'm just not quite there with it yet because it's still kind of new to me. Burn the Witch is awesome. I love it. I love how dark it is. I like that gothy stuff. And not a lot of people were doing this sort of sound right at this time either, right? 2005. Like, I feel like there were some cool bands in the early 90s that kind of sounded a bit like Burn the Witch, that track, like the Tea Party or something like that, where they had like these really cool, like, Doors-ish sort of gloomy rock, but not straight goth. It's not crossing that line. It still has a bit of funk in there, or a little bit of edge. So Burn the Witch is a very impressive song to me. In my head, a standard song that is to me. Little Sister is a huge pop track, and more cowbell, please. Why does the cowbell work so well in these songs? I have no fucking clue. I have no clue. Sometimes I hate cowbell, and I want to hate it when I'm listening to Queens of the Stone Age. I want to be like, okay, knock off the cowbell thing, but I don't. For whatever reason, it works with this whole sand desert thing going on in my mind. This collage they're building. Um, I never came. Like, skip it. Someone's in the Wolf, one of their best songs. The blood is love. Skip it. Skin on bone, love it. I mean, I just love the production of this album. It ends off great, just like it starts off great. But I just think that the production on this album to me is my favorite production on any of their albums. Um, I'll get into it in some of my top songs, I guess, about it too. But just kind of the feelings that it inspires, like I feel like it's all kind of locked up in like this gross cocoon, and then it just kind of like opens up from time to time and a little bit spills out, and I don't know how to bring it together in words, but it just kind of it's so energetic, it's a force, and I love this album. 4.75 stars for Lullabies to Paralyze. Can't quite give it that elite 5 stars, but it's right there.
Okay.
And I owe you this album, Rich, because I don't know when I would have dove these guys. And so thank you to you, because without this, I wouldn't have been instantly searching Discogs to find this motherfucker to bring it home. So thank you.
Glad I could be of service. It's funny. I'm a little funny with the 4.75 rating. I rarely use it because I
Me too.
figure if it's better than 4.5, give it the fucking five if it's that good. But 4.75 for me means it's essentially gold, but it has one fatal flaw. Like I award the Stooges' first album 4.75 stars because it's balls to the wall, just crushing rock. But at the end of the first side, it has "We Will Fall," which totally kills the momentum and just ruins the album. That should have been the last song. If that had been moved to the last song, it would be 5 stars. But
But
because it's a fatal flaw, I can't give it to the 5 stars.
for me, that album is Use Your Illusion 2. I don't like My World. Well, who does? But also, I never liked Duff McKagan's So Fine. I'm sorry, Duff, because I love Duff and I love his punk knowledge. Him on Nardwar is maybe one of my all-time favorites because Duff is so cool and
Oh yeah,
his punk music knowledge is elite. And
I
he,
gotta
and
see
so
that.
and so is Nardwar. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, no, that's
I,
cool.
people are like, this guy has Use Your Illusion 2 as a 5 star album.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, I much prefer one. Use Your Illusion one. I think that's got some great songs on that. I think I'm like a 5 stars on one and a 3.75 on two.
I oh wow. Yeah, see I'm 4.75 on 1 and 2. And then actually I've got Appetite at 4.5. So I've got Appetite lower. I like
Ah,
the Illusions albums. Sorry, Rick.
oh man, you're killing me. All right.
Okay,
Back to
go ahead.
Queens of the Stone Age.
Sorry, Queens
And
of the
my
Stone.
number one, their fourth album, Lullabies to Paralyze from 2005, like we've been saying. After a change in the lineup, the band regrouped and I believe really come into their own at this point. Queens of the Stone Age continues to be a trippy band with plenty of tasty skips, stutters, and other distortions in the timekeeping, which make for a really enjoyable listening experience. Lullabies hits a sweet spot between the desert metal of their early years and their latter-day sophistication. A very druggy vibe in both the music and the lyrics. The acoustic opener, sung by Lanigan, is a brief, perfect introduction to the album, like you've been saying, going straight into the heavy medication, which is such a rush, an amazing contrast between those two songs. Everybody knows that you're insane, downshifts into a more drawn out, druggy vibe, soon blasting off, becoming a ferocious rock tune. Tangled Up in Plaid has a delicious strut, while the swirling Burn the Witch features vocals by both Home and Lanigan and a yummy guitar solo from guest Billy Gibbons. In My Head rocks. It's one of those songs of theirs that feature a "Now I Want to Be Your Dog" piano bit, which is always very effective. Go with the Flow is another song that does that. I think there's a dee 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 thing going on in the background. Um, in My Head is a damn good song, but not one of my favorites here. The chorus doesn't totally work for me, but Little Sister is gold. Love the jam block. I read that it's the thing is not actually a cowbell, it's similar. It's called a jam block.
Wow.
Anyway, I love the jam block. I love the surging chorus. Best song on the album. I Never Came begins with a good beat and sizzles with a slow burning intensity. Someone's in the Wolf is creepy. At first, it's really crushing. Then it gets sort of twitchy. At one point, the song gets really spacey and then comes back rocking hard before abruptly switching into the next song, The Blood of Love, which is cool if a bit too repetitive. It's the weakest song here, but it's still good. Skin on Skin has a sick, grimy guitar tone. I think it's the combination of both bass and guitar that makes it so powerful, actually. This one also has a trippy interlude before roaring back with that badass bass riff, or whatever it is. The last track, Long Slow Goodbye, is a fantastic arty piece, like a a lot of their other endings. Um, like the hidden track on Songs for the Deaf, it experiments with horns, ending the album in an amazing way. Lullabies to Paralyze has so many golden songs, it has to be 5 stars. This album kicks some serious ass.
Fuck yeah.
All right. So, you got a top 10 songs?
Top 10 songs.
Yeah,
I'm
you can
ready.
just list them off or whatever you want to comment is fine. However you want
Okay,
to do it.
just go in a row.
Just yeah,
Okay.
let me
Yeah.
have it.
Oh, okay. Sounds good, Rich. Top 10 Queens of the Stone Age songs from me. That is Joe Opinionated. Check out my channel too, at my friend Joe on YouTube. A lot of fun. A lot of fun. Okay. Number 10 for Queens of the Stone Age, I'm going with Burn the Witch. That's from Lullabies to Paralyze, 2005. It's almost like a T-Rex glam anthem. This has like NHL goal song written all over it. I like when bands just make music to rock to, like ZZ Top, Flares, and I realize Gibbons features on some of these, but this song sounds like he wrote it. The backing vocals remind me of ZZ Top, ZZ's track Heads in Mississippi. Uh, yeah, it reminds me of that Mississippi song, which coincidentally is also where most bad decisions begin. I like when bands do that, when they're not trying to change the world, they're just making something you can roll around to, like a loose tire, you know, real ZZ Top flavor in there, anyways. So, number 10, I got Burn the Witch. Number 9, If I Had a Tail off of Light Clockwork. Tasty, Mark Lanigan featured on this song too. It comes through anyways to me. Uh, um, it's a more personal, heartfelt track. Dave Grohl also on this album in general. I mean, really shines through. Mark Rankin, the engineer, he just finished working with Adele, Rolling in the Deep, so he was kind of coming into, he was doing okay this time. I'm sure his pockets were fat. If I Had a Tail is just a standout track to me on that album, and it highlights so many different elements of the band. Number 8, also off of Light Clockwork, I'm going with Smooth Sailing. More glam. I hear some Marilyn Manson almost mixed in there with like hardcore punk pacing. Marilyn Manson, but he's jogging, you know. There's this, like he's late for something but doesn't know what. Love the changes throughout the track. The guitar chunk on this track has so much Sly and Eddie Hazel, but covered in desert sand and cactus thistle. Nature really got involved on this track. Smooth Sailing. Number 7, Little Sister, off of Lullabies to Paralyze. Impeccable mix, with brilliant riffs, terrific songwriting. Lanigan on the chorus, I'm assuming, filling in there, or touches of it, maybe. Could be right, could be wrong. But that guitar tone, it's special, it's elite. It's also very much a Josh Home staple. Sounds perfect on those droney bridge licks, to me. I like that. More cowbell, or what did you just call it? Square foot?
Oh, Jam Block.
More jam block. Some tracks it's just required. It brings me those Sergio Leone desert shots with the cows carrying bags of grain, everything covered in sand and dust. Sierra Madre, Badgers, like I'm there. Number 6, No One Knows, from Songs of the Deaf from 2002. And yeah, for me, No One Knows is the entire reason Guitar Hero worked. Guitar Hero is a big thing for, I'm maybe too old for it, but a lot of our friends are drinking and kind of like dorm parties and stuff like that, and we pull out Guitar Hero or Rock Band for a period of time, and it was a lot of fun. uh you know Without that song, it's just a plastic guitar and a man questioning his life. Such a fun song, incredible tones again. This is their huge smash track. Few songs get me so amped post guitar solo. The build out of the guitar solo on that track is very cool. That thumping bass and doom, 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 doom. Song's got a menacing Tool or Rage Against the Machine were kings of that sort of sound. But Queens have it on this album. Uh, Dave Grohl is just lights out on this album, and on this track, he sounds so big, but not overpowering the flow. Number 5, Monsters in the Parasol from Rated R. Pop song. It's a pop rock song, an alternative rock. I love when I hear shots of Devo on tracks, wean throughout these sludge-filled tones on these almost punk post-punk tracks. Monsters and Parasol. I just love where that track goes. Number 4, Regular John, the debut, the opening track, first song on the album. This is the direction from the ZZ Top rhythms and the balls to the wall rifle riffage. Josh Homme somehow has the volume on 11, but everything feels like it's locked inside a sweaty cocoon, one of Buffalo Bills, but this time with a pentagram in red on the moth's back. This was my introduction. This song, my good friend on the street with the CD collection and the pool put this on rotation immediately. Thanks, Ian. Number 3, Threes and Sevens from Era Vulgaris. Yes, this is played a lot on the radio, but while doing the dive, I really enjoyed the song in sequence on the album. Listen to it in order, like the Lord intended. And as much as I admire the constant uncertainty, the juxtaposition within tracks, as a Ween fan, I often consider these songs brown, but in a good way. It just rocks. Number 2, Someone's in the Wolf, Lullabies to Paralyze from 2005. There's almost a prog feel to the progression on this song. Garage prog, Palm Desert occult rock. You hear it and you think, yes, this is music made by people who own robes. Where do I join this cult? It clearly involves mind expanding drugs and days of many moons. Josh had polka guitar lessons when he was first learning from 9 to 11. Knowing that, I sometimes hear those pulsating arpeggios you might expect from Frank Yankovic after a cheese ball or two. That's cocaine and cheese. A dangerous combination, historically speaking. And number 1, Domesticated Animals from Villains, 2017. After conducting a full and exhaustive audit of the catalog, every album, no shortcuts, I've determined my number 1 song is Domesticated Animals from Villains. Now, you've got Mark Ronson producing, seated firmly in the Jedi High Council chair, summoning the spirits. Help me, Obi-Wan Bowie. Summon also maybe Bolin, Jagger, or maybe the ghost of Lou Reed if he's not busy. And you can hear it. Bowie's everywhere on this track, not in cheap costume way, more like he's haunting the studio, offering notes, disapproving silently. Prime glam rock, sequins with intent. The groove is dynamic, elastic, almost imperial. It struts. The song doesn't walk, it parades like rock royalty processing through the town square, waving, but not making eye contact. It's that kind of track that makes you feel cultured, just like listening to it. Like you should be wearing a scarf and you don't actually need it. Anyways, that's my pick. I stand by it historically.
Wow. Well, very surprising choices and very cool. Very, very nicely done there, Joe. Nice. I don't have any comments on these. I'm just going to list them off.
Yeah,
My number,
yeah.
t- oh, my number 10 is Skin on Skin from Lullabies to Paralyze. Number 9, Paper Machete from In Times New Roman. Number 8, In the Fade uh, from Rated R. Number 7 is Burn the Witch from Lullabies. Number 6, Broken Box from Lullabies. Number 5, Medication from Lullabies. Number 4, I Sat by the Ocean from Like Clockwork. Number 3, Smooth Sailing from Like Clockwork. Number 2, Go with the Flow from Songs for the Deaf. And my number 1 is Little Sister, Lullabies to Paralyze. And just missing is the title track, Like Clockwork. Love
Uh,
that song.
awesome. So we had a few. Yeah, so it was
Smooth
Little Sister,
Sailing, Little
Smooth
Sister.
Sailing, and did you say Burn the Witch?
Yeah, yeah, Burn the Witch. Yeah.
So you got three, but no domesticated animals.
No.
Well, Rich, you better go back and listen to them again
All right.
then. I'll see you in 2 weeks.
So, any final thoughts about Queens before we sign off?
No, I just want to say thanks, Rich, for having me on your show. I'm a big fan. If you haven't checked out Rich's channel before, he hits you with the truth. And now that I've done an episode with you, I'm going to prepare a lot more for the next one. but
Oh, you did great.
but man, you're awesome. I'm a fan, and yeah, and we met in the Discord for Taste Like Music,
Uh-huh.
and we're clearly both fans of what those guys, Joe and Jason, and formerly Crams, are doing over there, and so yeah, that's a big part
Yep.
of us coming together too. So I should probably give
Yeah,
that
we
a
hang out
shout
on
out.
Discord all the time. It's just a fun place to be. Got a lot of friends there. All right, Joe, thanks for coming on with me. This has been a blast. It always is. Peace out, everybody. Have a good one. Yeah, I had a graveyard shift job a while back. I worked the graveyard at a 7-Eleven across
Yeah,
the street from the University of New Mexico in Albuquerque. And that was fucking wild. The hookers, drugs, drunk college students, and I myself was going in the back to smoke weed.
yeah,
And I
partaking.
played music. You weren't supposed to do that, but I played my own music too. So it was a happening time.
So is weed legal down there now? Because I'm in Canada, so I don't really
Oh,
know.
it's not in Texas. Well,
Oh,
you have you can get a license for medical use, but I
yeah.
think there are severe restrictions. So yeah,
Okay. It's kind of like that.
it's a ridiculous situation, but there are states where recreational use is legal. California, Colorado, a bunch of
Right.
other ones now. I don't really know who
Yeah.
all, but yeah, it is a ridiculous situation. And as much as the greedy fucks in Texas love money, you'd think that they would see the dollar signs that would come their way if weed was legal, but no, they're more interested in controlling other people, telling other people how to live their lives. They're
Yeah.
typical control freaks.
Yeah, it took it a little while here, and there was a long period of time where people were out getting their medical growers licenses and stuff like that. it became so loose that people were growing pot on their front balconies and stuff. I live on Vancouver Island. It's pretty liberal, pretty left wing. I mean, it's just like home base for BC Bud or whatever. And so,
Yeah.
and so I mean, it's like it was already kind of legal here. They started opening up dispensaries here a long time ago. There's a local named Dana Larson who had a BC marijuana party, and he won a lottery, and he took all of his lottery winnings and pumped them into legalizing drugs. And it's sort of like a local legend. He still has a store in Vancouver where you can test your drugs. So you can take drugs to him and he'll test them for free and give them back,
Wow.
which is really cool.
Yeah.
They also sell like synthetic everything there. But yeah, I think it was like 2017 when it became legal here.
Mhm.
And yeah, and then so for the first few years it was funny because you'd see a bunch of people that had never spoken about weed at all.
When you
Next
said
thing
he
you know,
would t test drugs, you could take like an
yeah,
MDMA
yeah,
tab and you can tell whether or not it's real. Yeah,
exactly, yeah.
that's
That's the big one, right? Is
that should be
ecstasy because
everywhere.
yeah, because everybody wants to use ecstasy, but they don't want to do fentanyl by mistake or whatever,
No
right?
shit.
So,
Yeah. I
so
mean, there's so many reasons to legalize all drugs, but the main thing is, safety and, regulation and
yeah,
just freedom. We should care about freedom and freedom. People should have the choice to do with their bodies what they wilt.
for sure, for sure. That's
Yeah.
I'd love to come visit you in Texas, but I think I'm gonna wait about 2 years, 11 months, and the whole country's on a countdown up here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyways,
It's
this is
it's the whole world is really it's a horrible, horrible situation. The worst ever. I never dreamed it could get this bad. I mean, we've got we're looking down the barrel of fascism. That's what's going on, really. And it's scary.
part of the
And
reason. Yeah, it's part of the reason I started doing a podcast. Honestly, was because in 2020, obviously things got dark. I got sent home, working from home, and for 2 years, it was just everybody arguing back and forth, and splinters and families and all that sort of stuff. And I just was dying for somewhere where I could just talk about music and movies and just leave that stuff aside for a bit. You know what I mean? And that was sort of especially when I first had guests on the podcast and stuff, I was always, I'm just so you know beforehand, I'm going to edit out anything political. And I would tell them that. I'd be like, if you say a slide mark or anything like that, it's out of the podcast because I just don't want it to be about that. And I just want a safe place where I can be like I was 3 or 4 years before that, and just arguing, no, this, Godfather 1 or Godfather 2. I just want to get back to that and have fun. Like you said, smoke a little weed and just chill, relax for a bit.
yeah, yeah. So, I guess we can go ahead and jump into it. We've warmed up our voices. How do you feel about it? Oh, if
Sure.
I have to get up for some reason and there's a big gap or something, don't worry about it. My editor, of course, will take care of it and make sure it's a nice looking video.
So do you edit them or no?
No, I have an editor. And I
Sick.
don't make a lot of money, so I can't really afford an editor, but he's a client of mine. And so we trade. I do massage for him,
That's
and
killer.
he
Okay.
he edits my videos. Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
He's
right
kind of an
on.
amateur editor, but he picked it up right away. And I watched him work a little bit. I was like, well, I'll let you do it.
I mean, that's what
I'm,
stops. I mean, I've talked to a lot of the podcasters out there, and that's what slows us down is the thought of like, if I make this and then I gotta edit it.
yeah.
I know it slows me down. Or I'm like, oh god, I used to be good at it. I would film 10 episodes. I'd like stay up till 3 in the morning and just keep filming, 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 and I'd have 10 episodes in the docket, and I could edit them. I could do one episode in about an hour, but it was over the course of 2 weeks I'd push out 10 episodes. But anyways, sorry.
Yeah, I don't know if you know this, but I've made a bunch of videos for Music Meltdown.
Oh,
Melody's
okay.
channel,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
she just like gave up on editing, and now you just get raw video of
Yeah.
ranking videos or whatever. It's okay. I mean, this is a very niche group of people that are going to bother with these videos anyway. So, um,
Yeah, I always like the ones that I haven't edited. I think about like, oh, I'll go back and edit those later, but I never do. So getting them done right off the hop like that is super cool, man. You're lucky. That's a great idea. I just got to pick up massage therapy and then we're good to go.
all right. Are you ready to get going?
Yeah, buddy.